my troopers hopping in this bitch, popping in this bitch. Me and my troopers hopping in this bitch, popping in this bitch. Me and my troopers.
Alright, so this video is going to be a bit of a hard one to do because, yeah, I'm going to try and keep this as spoiler free. But yeah, this movie that I'm about to talk about right now, like, I want to talk about every little thing that happened in this movie, but I want to be considerate for the people that haven't watched the movie yet. So, there's not going to be no spoilers in this video. God help me. Anyway, hello, my name is Mr. J3T, aka Big Sexy, aka the Kentucky Cannon, aka the World Class Badass, aka Chocolate Thunder with the Caramel Swirl, aka Black Lightning with the Peanut Butter Filling, aka the Pride of Kentucky, aka the Houdini of Sexy, aka DJ Big Head, because I'm a DJ by association, if you forgot, aka Big Daddy Long. Yeah, I haven't been called that in a while. Big Daddy Long. Ooh, yeah. Also, the Man, aka the Man of the Century. I like that one too. Ugh, I love it. Anyway, today we're going to be talking about Spider-Man No Way Home. And yeah, like I said at the beginning of this video, I'm going to try to keep this spoiler free. I'm not going to try, I am going to keep this spoiler free. I'm not going to talk about anything that happened in this movie. But again, it's going to be difficult because I really want to talk about everything that happened in this movie. But I want to be considerate for the people that haven't watched it yet, so no spoilers. But anyway, Spider-Man No Way Home takes place immediately after the events of Spider-Man Far From Home, where we have Tom Holland's Spider-Man, as we follow him as he tries to erase, like, as he goes to Doctor Strange and he tries to get everybody to forget that Peter Parker is Spider-Man, but as Doctor Strange is doing the spell, Peter botches the spell, and instead of people forgetting who Spider-Man is, villains from the previous Spider-Man movies, Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man and Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, come to the MCU, and so now Tom Holland's Spider-Man has to deal with that. So, I hope I explained that good, but that's the gist of it. Now, before I get into really big, decent size detail, I don't want to say get into like deep detail, because if I do that, then that would involve spoilers. But so before I get into decent size detail, I want to say that this movie, Spider-Man No Way Home, is the best live-action Spider-Man movie. By far the best. I'm not exaggerating when I say that either. It is that good. I really like how balanced this movie is, because there's a lot of humor, but there's also a lot of serious, heartbreaking moments in this movie, and there's also a lot of action in this movie. One of my favorite action scenes from this movie is Tom Holland's Spider-Man versus the Green Goblin. I just thought that whole fight was so cool. One moment in particular is where Tom Holland's Spider-Man, he's like on top of Goblin, he's just punching him, but Goblin is just eating all these punches and just laughing at Peter's face, pretty much asking for more, and I'm just, oh, wow. Alright. Dang. Gotta have to do better than that, Peter. God dang. So, yeah, that whole fight is my favorite in the movie. I just thought that fight was so cool. Um, as for probably my second fight, it was probably the first fight between Doctor Octopus from Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man movies, the Sam Raimi Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies. That version of Octopus, Doc Ock, versus Tom Holland Spider-Man, because he's the first villain that shows up. And that was probably, like, my second favorite. In fact, like, some of my favorite scenes involve the villains, because all the villains had some good one-liners, and they all had some decent screen time. They all got their chances to shine. I personally got excited when Sandman showed up, because Sandman from the Sam Raimi, Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies, the third one, Sandman was my personal favorite part of the Sam Raimi, of the third Spider-Man Sam Raimi movie. He was personally my favorite part, so I loved it when he showed up. I was sort of thinking, like, how are they gonna get Sandman to fight Tom Holland's Spider-Man? Because Sandman, he may be a bad guy, but he's not a bad guy. Shoutouts to Wreck-It Ralph. But yes, he's not a bad guy, he actually kind of trusts Spider-Man. In fact, when Sandman first meets Tom Holland's Spider-Man, Sandman actually helps Spider-Man out to fight Electro. I'll get to Electro later. So I was like, how are they gonna have them fight? And the answer is pretty simple. Tom Holland's Spider-Man isn't his Spider-Man, so Sandman has no reason to trust Tom Holland Spider-Man. So there's a little tension there. So that was pretty simple answer in hindsight. Now Electro was one of my favorite parts in this movie. Jamie Foxx completely took advantage of the second chance that he was given to play this character, because even though I did like Jamie Foxx's Electro in The Amazing Spider-Man 2, Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, even though I liked him, I didn't like his design. I didn't like that they made him blue. I didn't like that in his original human form they gave him a comb over that, like, no actual black person has. So I'm happy how they did Electro here. They gave him a nice fresh fade. They gave him the Tims. If you look in the trailer and in the movie, if you look at his feet, they had my boy wearing the Tims in the fight. So that was cool. I just liked his whole aesthetic, and he also had some great lines in there too, where Spider-Man pretty much caught all of the otherworld villains, right? And they're all talking about, like, that pretty much all of them, except for a few, die fighting Spider-Man, which, it's not a spoiler. Hear me out. Not a spoiler. You actually learn this. They actually say that in the trailer, that Doctor Strange says it's their fate to die. So yeah, it's not a spoiler. This is common knowledge. So don't get on me. All right, don't get on me. But Electro was like, yeah, I was whooping Spider-Man's ass, absorbing all this energy and mana, and And oh shit, I was about to die. He just has that realization, like, oh Jesus, I was, oh, oh, it just snapped, and he just realized that, oh shit, I was gonna die there, and it was fun. It was funny. He had a lot of good moments. One interaction that I loved in this movie. This movie is filled with funny interactions between characters. But one of my favorites is when Sandman and Electro are talking to each other. Electro just goes, "Yeah, I fell into a bed of electric eels, and that's how I got my powers." And Sandman just goes, "Oh, I fell into a big old experimental sand thing, and that's how I got my powers." And Electro just goes, "Damn, gotta be careful where you fall." And Sandman actually agrees. He's like, "Yeah, ain't that the truth?" So I just love that little interaction. Just interactions like that is what I love about this movie. Every character has a serious moment. Every character has moments where they crack, where they have one-liners, they crack jokes, and it's just funny. Every character gets a chance to shine in this movie. Uh, they don't overstay their welcomes. Nobody is pushed to the background. Everybody gets their times to shine, and it's awesome. I also uh, like the whole story of Peter Parker and his identity being outed to the world. We really see how that impacts him, not only him, but his friends and his family, because Ned and his girlfriend MJ, they're all trying to go to college, and solely because Ned and MJ know Peter, they don't get accepted to college. And that's a whole thing in the movie where Peter is like, "Look," and that's why he went to Doctor Strange and asked him if he could make people forget that forget Peter Spider-Man's true identity, is because he realizes that his friends are getting dragged down just by being associated with him, just by knowing him, and that doesn't sit right with him. So I thought I liked the whole drama, I like that whole part of the story too. Just watching Peter and his loved ones, the people he knows, just trying to deal with all of this newfound attention and press on them. In fact, like, most of the first hour is dedicated to this part of the story. We see Peter and his friends and his aunt getting interrogated. We see a lot of protesters at his apartment. We see somebody throwing a brick at Peter's apartment, and the brick says, "We believe Mysterio." We see Peter go to school, and people are like taking a bunch of pictures of him, surrounding him, crowding him, and we see that people are. It's split. We have the people that still think that Spider-Man's a hero and that he didn't do it, and then the other side that so purely believes Mysterio and that Spider-Man's a murderer. So that was interesting to see that even after Mysterio framed Spider-Man and framed him for everything that happened in London and for everything that happened in Far From Home, people still believe Spider-Man to be a hero. So that was interesting to see. In fact, there was a scene where when Peter goes to high school with MJ and Gank, not Ned, I mean, uh, he walks in and the principal, a teacher, and the gym teacher are just standing there waiting for him. The principal is like, hey, we made a little shrine to say thank you for everything you've done for the city and all that. And the gym teacher's like, nah, screw him. You know what you did. You're a murderer. You're a murderer. So, yes, it's firmly split, and I like that aspect. Jonah Jameson, he's back. He was also one of my favorite parts of the movie, just being a supreme dick. Just dog piling on Spider-Man, saying he's a menace, he's a murderer, he needs to be behind bars, everything he touches turns to ash. And it's like, God, give the man a break. Jesus Christ. He's just always dogpiling on Spider-Man all the time. It's like, God, give my man a break. Doctor Strange, I liked him too. I love how as the movie progresses, he just gets more and more done with Peter's bullshit. Because at first he was ready and willing to help Peter out with his whole situation, but as the movie goes on, and as Peter starts to mess things up a little bit, he just slowly starts to just lose his patience with Peter, and he's to the point where he's just like, look, don't talk, shut up, don't talk. There's a moment in the trailer where he just says, look, we're past the point of you calling me sir. Peter calls him Steven, and Doctor Strange is like, that felt weird, but I'll allow it. The moment after the spell gets botched, Peter calls Steven Doctor Strange, Steven, and the doc just goes, call me sir. Completely done with Peter and all of his bullshit. And I just thought that was funny. They had some good interactions in this movie. Damn, if only I can talk about what happened at the end with you guys, because I really want to talk about what happens at the end. I want to talk about what happens in the mid-credit scene. Like, I just really want to talk about this stuff, but I'm trying to stay considerate for the people that haven't watched it. I guess sound off in the comments if you want to if y'all want a spoiler review, because I really want to talk about all the parts, all the surprises that happened in this movie. So I really want to talk about it. So if you guys want it, I'll do it. But that's a thing for another time. But the here and now, I like Doctor Strange in the movie. What am I gonna say? He doesn't serve as much of like an Iron Man role, because this is still primarily a Spider-Man movie, just featuring Doctor Strange. It's not like how Iron Man Tony Stark is in Spider-Man Homecoming, where like Tony was like a prominent character in that movie. Doctor Strange, even though he gets more to do, he's not like always there to help Peter out, you know? This is still primarily a Spider-Man movie, but yeah, just featuring Doctor Strange. If that made any sense at all. Sorry if that didn't make any sense. But all in all, this movie is great. It has some great action in it. It has some great humor. Like, pretty much, I don't know about all of you that have watched the movie, but for me, pretty much all the jokes landed. It was very, very funny. Um, this movie also has, like I said, a lot of serious, heart-wrenching stuff, including the stuff that involves Aunt May, because Aunt May gets more stuff to do in this movie, whereas in the past movies she just kind of felt like a background character, but in this movie she got more stuff to do, which was cool to see. She even should I tell y'all about that part? Should I tell y'all about that part? Uh, uh, eh, Probably. It's not that. It's not that bad. What I would say. Okay, so one part, after a particularly intense fight, Peter's like, "Dang, I messed up. Like, this is my fault." And Aunt May is trying to console him. Peter eventually says, like, "This is none of my business. Like, I don't care." But Aunt May's like, "Look, you got some great power, but with great power comes great responsibility. So get out there and handle that shit." So instead of Uncle Ben being the one to give the great power comes great responsibility speech to Peter in the MCU, it was Aunt May that gave Peter the "with great power comes great responsibility" speech. So that was cool to see. I just love I like how they gave her more stuff to do in this movie and just didn't just have her as a background character. So that was cool to see. All in all, it's a great movie. Like I said before, the best live action Spider-Man movie, in my humble opinion. Great action, great humor, great heart. Every character gets a chance to shine. We get some big surprises in this movie. Surprises that I can't talk about to avoid spoilers. But just know, like, expect some big surprises in this movie. But all in all, it's a great movie. I gave it 2 thumbs up with a J3T stamp of approval. Go out and watch it. Go. Right now. Go. But that's about it. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. But if you really, 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 and I mean really like me, consider subscribing and ring that bell so you always know whenever I upload, because it's free. I keep on telling y'all, it's free. Don't be a dum-dum. Subscribe. Deuces.